What's up, everyone? Welcome to the JO Sports Wrap. I'm Jay.
And I'm O. And remember, everyone hit the subscribe and like button. All right, Juan, let's get right into it. First topic of the day. Belichick. Do you think Bill Belichick is on the hot seat? He's lost a few seasons in a row. He made the playoffs last year, but the teams just haven't looked the same since Brady. But it is Brady, so maybe it was just all Brady. Uh, so is Belichick on the hot seat?
I think if you're Robert Kraft at this moment, you signed Belichick to turn your team around. Uh, Historically, he has done that, but every owner likes to win. I think if he continues losing this season, I think that topic is actually probably going to start crossing Robert Kraft's mind. So I'm going to say right now he's not on the hot seat, but if he loses a couple more games, I think, and in the manner that he loses, I think definitely he'll be in the hot seat.
I agree. I don't think he's on the hot seat. And because of all the things you said, and because the Patriots are in the top five most expensive teams in the world, or at least in the NFL. Let me see.
They don't spend more than the Dallas Cowboys, but yeah, they are one of
not spend, but worth more, but worth. They're
yeah.
top five worth team.
Definitely, yeah.
So that means that Belichick has made him a lot of money. Fine, Tom Brady has also, but Belichick is the person he decided to keep over Brady. Because Kraft could have just said, okay, we'll let Bill go and we'll keep Brady. That could have been a choice that he made. But he didn't. He kept Bill. So I think Bill can stay for as long as he wants, I think. Unless he goes like 1 and 12, 1 and 16.
1 and 16.
Something like that. But if he's like the team fights, and like they don't give up on him, like I think it's like it'll be fine. If it continues to be the Patriot way, he can go on there forever. Even if they lose. They won for such a long time. I'm sure the owner's like, yeah. And he could like sell. Well, then they might fire him.
That's true. It'll be new ownership's problem. Yeah, they'll definitely want their own people. Yeah, but if they decide to sell, they're gonna have to blow up the entire roster. I mean, you got to lower in order to sell their team. You have to lower the payroll.
So well, that won't happen for
a while. Yeah,
at least 2 to 3 years. Yeah. So these guys won't even be on the squad
unless Robert Kraft gets himself into another legal situation like that situation. Then maybe
that guy crazy
force itself, but we'll see.
That guy crazy. All right. Next topic. Will the Lakers make the playoffs? What do you think? Do you think this trio can do it the second time around if everyone stays healthy? And they got Pat Bev, so there might be some problems. Even though they've been cool, it seems like him and Russ seem cool. They've been bumping and hanging out, so it seems all right. You think they got a chance?
I don't feel it's enough. I think they're still missing some crucial pieces, but I do think it'll be a better season than it was last year for sure. It's good to see LeBron and Russell on the same page, but
are they on the same page though?
Well, that's what they're on the same page off the court, but let's see how it transitions into on the court because that's a whole different story. Both of these guys.
If Russ comes off the bench, I think it could work. And that's the only way.
You're gonna have to make him. Yeah, you're gonna have to make him want to come off the bench though.
He has to come off the bench because Russ can go wild. He'd be like, "Yo, handle it for the next 8 minutes," and Russ can go get 20 in 8 minutes because he's so like talented and fast, and he's probably still the most athletic guy in the NBA. So, but putting him in there with the starter it hurts LeBron because LeBron needs the ball, and you can have two dudes who need the ball, and you got to feed it. So, like him and Braun don't play well together. I don't know why he agreed to have him like come there. Like he should have had
because a guy. LeBron wants top guys. That's why.
Yeah, but he's not a top shooter. So
but he's a top point guard.
Yeah, fine. He might be a top point guard, but he's not a great shooting point guard, which is what LeBron needs. What great point guard has LeBron won a championship with? None. 0. He's won with average to like below average.
Yeah.
so like we know like that's not what LeBron needs. LeBron needs good like shooters and like a point guard who can like shoot it and handle it. Sometimes just when LeBron's like tired. Like Mauro Chalmers is the perfect LeBron point guard. He's the perfect LeBron point guard. Someone who can like boss around, tell him what to do. And a guy who's like can go for 35 or 2. Like
mostly 2.
No in between with that guy.
He can play 35 minutes.
Yeah, he could play 35 minutes. Hey, don't you feel like guys are playing less minutes nowadays?
Yeah. Definitely.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
How many more points would they be putting up if they played all the minutes?
Oh, hey, it's monstrous. It would be. I mean, even
It
look at
would
Dwayne
be.
Wade. Look at Dwayne Wade. Towards his last year of his career, he played
It's
minimal
crazy.
minutes. He didn't play the same 32.2 minutes a game like he used to. His point production went down, obviously. So it is
Yeah,
crazy.
generation was like the last. Even LeBron. LeBron plays some of the most minutes in the NBA still. It's crazy to me because he's so old and everybody's so young, but they just like rest. They rest the body. They rest the body. And it's crazy because all these people are going to rest their bodies. None of them are going to play as long as LeBron.
True. True.
Like
Oh,
so, it's
Carmelo. Look at Carmelo. He's playing less minutes, and
mhm.
he's still playing at least.
Yeah, but it took Melo having to leave the league to like learn. Like, okay, I'll come off the bench
Yeah,
because
but that,
he
that was the
refused.
Olympics. Thank God for the Olympics and Carmelo. That was
Mm,
his last big hurrah. That was the last time that they needed him to be the guy, and it worked.
yeah,
He was by himself, and the other
but
younger
he's great.
guys.
He's still
Oh, he's
very
great. Yeah, he's
good.
still a
He's
great
still very
player.
good, but he's
Still a
good
great
at one
player.
thing now. He's not like a
Yeah.
guy who can like take over a game anymore. Like
No,
you
no,
can
no. Don't
clearly
sell you
like
to
see it.
now.
He's not that guy anymore.
True, true.
But all right, that was a nice basketball segment. Since I think that's the only basketball we got on the slate
Mhm.
today. All right, so is everyone sleeping on Philly on the Eagles? What do you think? You think there's like a fluke, or the Eagles are for real? They're legit. What do you think?
No, I don't think it's a fluke at all. Great addition of AJ Brown. That's a great addition. But I think that does stunt their rookie Devonta Smith a little bit. But if those two guys can get on the same page, I think that if those two guys can accept their roles and produce equally or even semi-equally, I think they're going to take off on another level. Jalen Hurts is on a roll right now. I don't know what it is, but Jalen Hurts is on a roll right now. He's playing great. There's no other way to say it. He's playing like Russell Wilson used to play.
Yeah, young Russ. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's playing
Um,
great.
I don't think they're a fluke at all, and I think they deserve to be 3-0 right now. But let's see how they end up on after Sunday. Will they be 4-0? That's a question.
Mm. So they have a very soft division. So they're gonna run through the division. So they're guaranteed a playoff spot at least. So that's the team you're gonna have to like deal with. I don't know if they're 3-0 good like '07 Patriots or like some of those Peyton Manning teams that went on like huge runs. I don't know if they're that good of a team, but they're definitely like they seem like the best team in the NFC at the moment. Which is a lot to say because I'm sure nobody was picking them. There were probably three other teams people would pick before them, and now everybody's like Eagles. Like it's just like, but they do. They look very good. They can run it. They can throw it. And Jalen is deadly. Like he can take off at any like point. Like this kid is just like he's a bullet. And he knows how to slide, which is nice, and go out of bounds.
That's something Michael Vick didn't even do on slide. But Michael Vick didn't need this slide.
But he
That's
was
the
a lot
thing.
bigger too, though. Vic
Oh
like
yeah,
was a
no,
giant
yeah.
compared to these little dudes. These little dudes
Oh,
like
for
baseball
sure.
players playing out there, like like it's just sliding.
And Michael Vick didn't need this slide because it was hard to tackle Michael Vick.
Yeah, it was hard time. He's like Lamar, like like
Yeah.
they
Oh, that's
they
better.
have like some
Yeah,
quick
yeah, yeah.
twitch muscle that's
Yeah,
just
exactly. Ooh,
like it's not the
yeah.
same type of like they're like Barry
No, it's not.
Sanders. Like they have like a tick, like eh, like a crossover in a way. Like it's really nice. Um, so yeah, I don't think like people are sleeping on them. I think everybody knows they're here. They're here to stay. They're gonna play. They're gonna do what they gotta do. But they're definitely gonna lose some games. But at the moment, they're the best team in the NFC. Um, and I agreed with you on the last point, by the way, that the Lakers will make the playoffs. If everyone stays healthy, they should make the playoffs. Like they just have so much more experience, so they're gonna beat
Yeah,
someone.
definitely.
Does fantasy football need a change? And this is an interesting question because I mean, just like anything, like what do you think should be added or taken away from fantasy football to make it better? Like, would it be awesome? Oh, you tell me.
So personally, because I'm dealing with this right now, injuries, emergency injury substitutes. I mean, sometimes you're stuck into a position where, for example, me last night I started Tua Tagovailoa, and he went down after the in just before the half. I was stuck with the productions of what he did. At that point, he had, well, depending on what kind of league, he scored less than 10. Um, so I'm stuck with that for the rest of the week. If I was allowed to like sub in the backup quarterback that I have,
Mm-hmm.
I think it makes things a little bit more competitive and interesting, as opposed to being stuck with just the guy that you choose. But that's one of the things I think. Many different, it depends on what kind of league you're into. I'm in a 2 quarterback league as well, so and I start 2 in that league too. So it'd be nice to slide him around. But I'm also in an IDP league with yours truly over here, Mr. Oroso. Um, it'd be nice to, I don't know, have that kind of option available. But many, depending on what you like, what do you think? What do you think should be changed? Does it need to change?
Uh the point thing about substituting someone, I think that's okay. I mean, I'm not against that. The only hard thing is you would have to manually do that all the time as like whoever is the league commissioner. I think would have to manually do it because there isn't like a feature for that. I
Yeah.
think like they don't have a feature for that. So, but then it becomes like everyone can just substitute like running backs, wide receivers, and it's just like cycling through like free agency to like get people in.
I think, I think that's the thing is not like being given the option of not if you have someone on your roster, you know what I mean. So if you have a backup running back on your roster and your running back goes down, I think that should be allowed. But if not to pick up, not allow someone to pick up.
I get that, but now I drop 3 guys and I pick up 3 guys, and then I say, "Oh, I had this guy on my roster," and then you want to start him. You get me?
But that's the thing is lock it. Lock it from the moment the game begins, so you can't pick up anybody. A period of time when, if for example, Thursday night game, where your roster locks in, and you can't pick up, add anyone up until the end of that game.
Yeah.
If your player gets hurt in that period of time, I think I don't know. It's something to explore. Maybe I mean. There are some players.
It's interesting.
One of the guys in our league said that he was once in a league
uncle.
that your uncle your uncle. I forgot which. Man, your uncle's beating me in moves. By the way, I'm usually the most active owner in our league.
He's crazy.
He's miles ahead of me. He's already at 100 moves. Like he's already at 100 moves.
I used to be number one. I can't compete with that. I used to be number one.
Yeah.
And then you came in and you started doing more. I'm like, damn, I can't keep up with one. And I can't even keep up. I don't even look anymore. Like I used to look all the time to make sure I was the one. But he's like on another level.
Whoa. Yeah.
Like, who are you picking up? Who are these people?
After the first week, he already had like 58 moves, and I was just at 22. I was like, "Whoa, I can't keep up with that. Forget that."
Well, he's trying to win. He's trying to win.
No, yeah. And he's gonna piece it together.
We're all trying to win. There's only 3 dudes who have winning records. Everybody else on 1 and 2 or 0 and 3. Like it's crazy. Only 3 dudes have really won. 4, I guess. Yeah. 4
now. But back to the point is no, but he was the one that brought it up, and having your backup quarterback add in his points.
He did. That was a good idea.
Starting. That's not a bad suggestion too.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I just think it keeps things competitive, but sometimes stuff happens, like an injury, which just makes it competitive.
Yeah. I would like for it to be on my TV. So I would like to be watching, and instantly, if my players in the red zone are about to score, it switches to it because it knows my roster. Because or at least since I've been playing fantasy football, like I watch football because of fantasy football because I have like an incentive in the game. So it's like I love. So you want like football.
So you want an interactive feature where when your guys in a red zone, for example,
so like red zone, so something like red zone, but for my team, but for my team. Like it's specified, like it knows my roster. It's like okay, boop boop. And if 2 of my guys are in the red zone, it has 2 screens because it knows my guys, and it can even like highlight them. Because sometimes you're watching NBC at night, but you've seen like NBC at night, the NBC games, or I think it's the NBC games or the ESPN game, where they highlight the guy on the field, and you can like see him, like they highlight him in game, not in game, sorry, like post game. They highlight him like the
replay, right?
Yeah, on the replay, he's like highlighted, so they could do that like to us, to like our guys.
Actually, that's a really great idea. Yeah,
I would pay for a feature like that. Like,
for sure.
Show me my dude.
That's worth it at that point.
Yeah, and you can watch any game you want. So like you're watching this game, and it's like, oh, your dude's about to score, and you can be like, okay, slide it in, and it comes in. Like, okay, I can watch it. I go away, and you can continue doing whatever you want. Like that'd be dope.
That's an interesting feature, definitely.
Don't steal my idea, internet. This is patented today. All right, guys. So Tua. Is his career over as a starter? We're super sad seeing what happened to him yesterday. Unfortunately, that's probably never happened to anyone, right? On just about any circumstance. But is his career over? Does he come back from this? Can he get it done? What happens to the Dolphins?
That's a tough one. Personally, as a fan, I'd like to see him get back on the field, but look, I wasn't the biggest Tua fan. Everybody knows this. I've said this publicly. I thought he was drafted higher than he should have been drafted, and I've said it loudly and publicly that I thought Tua was a bust. Um, I thought he had way too many um, deficiencies that he couldn't overcome. For
And
example, scrambling.
we've seen him
Yeah,
this year.
we've seen him
already.
play out. We've seen him
We've seen
play
him
out.
this year. Even though they're
Somehow it's
winning,
working.
we've seen
Yeah,
him. Yeah, somehow it's working.
somehow it's working.
Somehow it's working.
It was working, but
Yeah,
I think the scrambling thing really came back to uh, bite him in the ass yesterday. I don't know if I can say ass, but whatever. I don't.
you can
It came
say
back
ass.
to bite. It came back and bit him in the ass yesterday because he just couldn't get away from that one. I mean, part of it was a missed block, but
still, like it was unfortunate.
still, he just couldn't get out of it in time. He took a hard hit. That was.
But he's not that moving of a quarterback. He's more of like a statue quarterback. Like
sure,
he's like in the park. He's not really moved.
But coming out of college, one of his biggest concerns was his fragility,
his hip,
and his hip. The hip hasn't bothered him much, but now you're dealing with other injuries like ankle injury, back injury, possible spinal injury, concussion. Now, these things start piling up. I think Miami's got to start thinking of a different solution at that position as well, because Teddy Bridgewater is not a bad quarterback. Bridgewater is not a bad quarterback to fill in the gap situation, but is he going to be the guy that takes you into the future for the next 10 years? No.
So you're saying trade for Brady. Okay, you heard it here. Trade for Brady. Trade for Brady.
Trade for Brady. Hey, convince Drew Brees to come out of retirement if you have to. Hey, Ryan Fitzpatrick is on the sidelines announcing games. Get him back in for a couple games.
I don't think Drew has the arm to hit those Ferraris either. There's probably like 4 guys on earth.
He's never had that kind of talent though either. Yeah. He's never
what do you mean? Drew Brees has had amazing receivers.
Not to the level of cheetahs and
okay, fine. Speed wise, but he's had super speed guy. You remember Robert Meacham? I think his name was. He was just a bullet. Like all he did was bullet, and he has a nice amount of touchdowns in his career and yards. And that's all he did, one play, just because he was. Drew
Brees had Ted Ginn Jr. for a while too, and we all know how that one's worked out.
Yeah, but Ted Ginn Jr. was never worthy of the 8th pick. Yes, fine, but he was never worthy of the 8th pick. Yes, fine, but he's never the wide receiver. Not even Jalen. Jalen, right? Yeah, Jalen. Not even as good as Jalen. And Jalen's the second best receiver on that team. Cheetah is like one of the best wide receivers ever. Like you're gonna have, just because of his speed, people are gonna want to put them on his team. Like nobody has speed like that ever in history.
Yeah.
Even if
plays well.
And plays well, yeah. He can run down the routes. People think he's just a bullet.
He can break tackles. He's
good,
too.
Very good.
Yeah, he's great.
Tiny,
he fights for every catch.
Durable. He lasts. Like he's ready to go.
But what do you think?
I hope the best for him. Of course, poor guy. Like that's awful. But I also agreed with you. I was never a big Tua fan. But I think they got to hit it hard either in free agency, because if they continue to win, they're not able to get a nice pick. I guess they could move up. Don't they have a bunch of like picks in the next like years, because they've traded a bunch of stuff away? Don't they have a lot of picks still?
Yeah, they still have. They have a couple first round picks next year, but
so maybe there's something in the draft.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If you're going to bet on the draft, then you got to wonder if is it going to be a quarterback draft next year? Is there a quarterback?
It is a quarterback draft next year.
So maybe it's the time to do it.
There's probably 4 to 5 guys.
But
they have a lot of picks. They can trade. They can trade in.
True.
That's what I'm saying. And they can put a guy in there. He's cheap for 4 years, and you got all these guys you're paying a ton of money to. So,
Tua, I agree with you. I hope he gets. I hope everything goes well for him.
Yeah, but, for sure, 100.
It's definitely time to start looking at a durable solution.
All right, so the NFL decided to replace the Pro Bowl with a skills competition. I don't know if you remember the 2000 skills competitions. Those are pretty cool. I liked those. Strongest arm. Yeah, those were entertaining. Definitely, I think it would be better than the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl has not been good for 12 years now, 13 years. Like it hasn't. Like guys just know better. Like, why am I gonna go out there and get hurt? Like this is stupid. So there's also a flag football game that might be cool, because the NFL is trying to get flag football into the Olympics. I don't know.
There's also a Legends game.
Oh, that's cool. I like those.
Yeah, those are interesting.
I've seen one of those where like Barry Sanders dominated.
Yeah, and Kurt Warner dominated too.
Well, those guys are still probably much young. Well, I don't know. How many guys are
They're
on
not that
there?
young.
How many
They're
active
not
guys could probably play football are in the Hall of Fame? Probably like
uh,
35 of them.
30. Yeah, yeah.
30
About
maybe.
30, maybe. Yeah,
And those guys are probably under 47.
true. Yeah.
Maybe like one or two dudes who are still like kicking like
True.
strong. So what do you think? What do you think was the skills challenge?
I think it's too little. You're trying to reinvigorate the Pro Bowl aspect of it. Hey, Major League Soccer did it this year with their All Star game. They did the same thing. They brought back the skills competition. It was really exciting stuff. The most exciting aspect of that skills competition was the goalie challenge. That was freaking amazing. Uh,
I didn't see
you
that. Was
had
it?
goalies. Oh yeah, the goalkeeper challenge in the majors at the Major League Soccer's All Star
Yeah,
competition. That was amazing. Check that out if you in world if you get a moment, check out that goalie competition. That was amazing stuff.
I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna
Essentially, I'm
Google it
not even
right
going to
now.
spoil it. I want you guys to check it out. But including the skills competition, I think it's too little. It could be entertaining if they put the right guys in. Um, who wouldn't want to see a who wouldn't want to see quarterbacks throw off against each other like Jalen Hurts against Dak if he comes back? Well, but I'm just throwing these out there. Who doesn't want to see a 40-yard dash between DK Metcalf and Tyreek Hill?
Now you're
Hey,
talking.
let's bring that
Now
in.
you're talking.
Let's bring that in. Who
And
doesn't want
winner
to
gets
see us?
and winner gets $1 million. Like the NFL has so much money. Like
Yeah, give
everyone
them
lives to do
bonuses.
this.
Yeah, make it interesting.
Look,
Make
just
it
make it's a
interesting.
million. It's $1 million pie. Whoever wins the race, $1 million. Every team can sell one guy. We'll run two races. One will eliminate half, and then it'll be like 8 guys left or whatever. Or maybe
Maybe.
half will be 16, but maybe we don't send that many guys. But whatever. You send like 8 or 10 guys, and then they race. Winner gets $1 million. Like who
I
wouldn't race
think
for $1 million?
oh, for sure. But I think this is a good way to minimize the injury concerns that the players have, because that's
But they're
something
still
that's
getting
going
paid.
on.
But they're still getting paid.
True. But
And you can get hurt
let's
in
look at
flag
it this way.
football.
You're not wrong. You could pull a hamstring or pull a quad.
You can tear an
But let's
ACL.
look at it this way.
You can
Let's
tear
put it
your
this way.
Achilles.
Let's put it this way. College football, playoffs, bowl games. A lot of players nowadays, if their draft stock is high enough, they'll elect to not play in their bowl game for fears of injury and then ruining the draft.
Yeah, for sure. Smart.
Smart. In that aspect, it's smart. But now you're hurting the competition. I'll give you this example. The year before, Florida made the bowl game, and they were actually in the talks to possibly play a second bowl game for the first time ever because there was a team that was forced to drop out. I think it was because of COVID or something. But Florida was in the talks to take over that bowl game as well. Their players from that who were going into the draft, and they were major guys. Oh, there was not Kyle Pitts, Kyler
The
Trask.
tight end for the Atlanta.
No, quarterback for Tampa Bay, the backup Trask.
Yeah, but also the tight end for
And
Atlanta,
the tight end, yeah, him too.
Kyle
Those
Pitts.
two were the yes. Those two were the number 1 and 2 guys on that team. Both guys elected to not play in their bowl game, and Florida got destroyed in that bowl game. So I mean, it's good that you're looking out for yourself, but it does hurt the competition aspect a little bit. With the Pro Bowl, is the same thing. Players are electing to pass on that because they don't want to hurt themselves with and it's about the money. You're not wrong. It is about the money. At the end of the day, these guys got to get paid.
It's all about
because
money.
they have families to feed. I get it. They have longevity to think about.
No, and they're feeding their families because they're all making money. Like they make tons of money.
True,
but compared to what the owners make, it's like pennies.
Exactly. It's minimum. Yeah, it's minimum.
Yeah, it's like pennies.
So I understand that aspect of it. It's just from a competition standpoint, do something that gets the fans' interest back in the competition. This is too little. But if they do something the right way, then it might be worth it.
I'd change it to $1 million for every competition.
You want to entice them. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, you guys have to be here. Just join this. You throw 6 balls, you might win $1 million. I think most guys would do that, and it'd be cool. You'd be on Sports Center, like, and most dudes would probably like donate some or donate it all. Well, nobody's gonna donate it all. It's $1 million. Put that in my bank. I ain't donating. Maybe Tom Brady would be like, "Oh, it's going to the Boys and Girls Club." Everybody else is like, "This should go to my butt, boy." Showing that money.
Hey, Tom, don't you have boys and girls hanging out in the clubhouse right now?
He
Isn't that
crazy.
his kids?
All right, all right. So, and the last one, Clay Matthews, Hall of Famer or not? He decided to retire, so he had a pretty good career with the Packers. I think he also played for the Rams and
Mhm.
maybe some other team that I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember if he actually. I don't. I know he didn't play last season.
He didn't. So he just
So
stayed an
yeah, he
extra
might have
year
been.
without
Yeah,
retiring.
yeah. That
But
happens sometimes.
yeah, yes,
That
they just don't
happens
get
sometimes.
picked up.
Yeah.
But what
Hall
do
of
you think?
Fame.
Hall of
That's a
Fame or
tough
not?
one. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. He's Green Bay loves him. He's played. He had some good seasons with Green Bay. I don't
Yeah.
know if he had any great seasons beyond Green Bay though.
Hmm.
For me personally,
1 year in the
one.
Rams.
There you go. And he went beyond. I mean, he even did a little singing arc in on Pitch Perfect. What was it, two?
Did
I think
he?
I spread about it. Yeah, yeah, he was in
I
Pitch
love that
Perfect
movie.
2, I
He
think
was
it
in
was.
that. I don't remember Clay
Yeah,
Matthews in
he was
that.
in a riff off with. Actually, he had
The riff
some of the
off.
other
Yeah, that was
Packers.
awesome.
He was he was in scene with the other Packers. A couple of the other
Other pack.
Packers.
Oh yeah, I think I do
Pitch
remember that, but I
Perfect.
don't remember Clay. Man, I haven't seen that in such a long time.
Yeah,
Those
but
are all good movies.
um, so from a popularity standpoint,
Yeah,
if
mega
popularity
popular.
means anything to the if from a popularity standpoint, if the writers agree, then I think he'll get into the Hall of Fame. But his stats personally, this is the only time you'll ever hear me say this. I don't think his stats alone make him the Hall of Famer.
They don't. So yeah, popularity. Yeah, he should be top most popular players of the last decade, probably outside of like a major quarterback. Very popular guy. But yeah, his stats don't add up. Even though I think he was more impactful than he was like a stat patter. So he didn't
Definitely.
put a lot of stats. But when you watched him play, he was always like making plays, or he was always like putting pressure. Like he was very good at that. But his best season was 13 and a half sacks, which is crazy to think. I felt like that dude had like 18 sacks 1 year because he was like everywhere. And he's only a one-time All-Pro, and he won it in his second year. So he played 9 more years without being an All-Pro. So one-time All-Pro, which is great. I love All-Pros. But only 4 seasons of 10 or more sacks, which is very little. So 10, 11, 13, and 13 and a half. Everything else, 8
Especially
or
for yeah,
less.
especially
So
for his position. Yeah, too
especially for his
little.
position. So even though he has 91 and a half for his career, which is probably top 20 all time or something, not a Hall of Famer. But great career. Like I don't know, did you ever play All Pro Football 2K7, like the last one they made? Where you
Can't
can like
remember.
make your team with legends and they had Dan Marino,
Oh
John
yeah, yeah.
Elway,
I
and you can
used to
play
love it.
online. And you
Yes,
can play online. Well,
yes.
that show was awesome. And they had like like gold star, silver, and bronze. So
Hmm.
he would have been some guy who'd been like a silver guy who was like
Yeah,
very, very, very good, but not good enough to have
good.
been like
The gold
Lawrence
star
Taylor,
talent. Yeah, yeah,
or Jack
yeah.
Ham or Jack Lambert that they had in the game because they had a good Deion
Yeah,
Sanders,
stack.
Rod Woodson.
Yeah,
Yo, that
Bill
shit was crazy.
Romanowski.
Bill
Yeah, they had Bill
Romanowski.
Romanowski.
Then they had
He-
like Bronco Nagurski, Barry
Yeah,
Sanders,
yeah.
Walter
Yeah,
Payton,
Barry
Emmett
Sanders.
Smith. They
Yeah,
had
yeah,
all the
yes.
backs. They had all
Oh
Jerry
yeah.
Rice. Uh,
Rice.
they didn't have a lot of receivers. They had Jerry
No, they
Rice,
didn't. Yeah.
Michael Irvin.
Michael Irving was
Like
on
they,
it.
but everybody else was
Uh,
still active. Moss was active.
yeah.
To was active.
They had pretty
Uh,
good cornerbacks too. They also had Brian Dawkins,
no,
Champ
but Brian
Bailey.
Dawkins is a safety.
Sorry, they had Champ Bailey.
Was Champ Bailey in that game?
I think he was in that game.
Could you
I
have
believe he
done?
was.
No, no way he was in that
I
game
think he
because
was
he
in
was an
there.
active player. Champ
I
Bailey was
think
still
he.
playing in '07, so he could not have been in that game.
Then I
Everybody who was
have.
in that game had to have been retired. I
So
remember
who the hell
that.
was I thinking? I don't know. I
I can
don't
check out
remember
the
that.
roster. I'm sure the roster is awesome. How much we have? We have 7 minutes left. All right,
Minutes. Yeah.
hold on. All pro football
2K7.
players.
Nah, you put all pro football, you're gonna get like an entire list.
Yeah, that wasn't a good search.
You gotta put video game.
Yeah, I
Was
should have put video game. All right, here we go. Mm, OJ was in the game, and there was a controversy
OJ,
that's
really?
on the
Oh,
Wikipedia. Uh,
OJ was in the game.
roster. There we go. Let's see. All right. So they had 5 centers, which I only know 2. Yeah, they had a bunch of cornerbacks. They had almost 10 corners. Uh, Mel Renfro, Night Train Lane.
Night Train. Wow.
Why isn't Dion
Night
on
Train.
here? What is this?
I think it was a likeness thing.
No, but I feel like Dion was in the game. Man, I remember, or maybe he wasn't in the game. I feel like he was. Reggie White at the end.
Really, Reggie White. Wow.
Yeah. All Pro Football. Yeah, 2K8. Yeah, D tackles, Bob Lilly, Too Tall Jones.
The nicknames on these guys.
And a bunch of dudes that I've never heard of. Randy White, William Perry. Oh, I remember William.
With the refrigerator.
William, he was a bronze in the game. I always took him and I would put him on a running back.
It's a Bears legend right there, boy.
He's
That's a Bears legend. Yeah.
Free safeties. Ronnie Lott. Oh, maybe it's Ronnie Lott who I was thinking. Ronnie Lott's here at safety. And he's like the only, like, I mean, they have other safeties, but it's not like dudes anyone would know, I think. Solomon Wilcots.
Wilcots, really?
Not a gold star.
Yeah. What was he? A bronze?
Yeah, he was like a bronze.
Yeah.
Yeah, halfbacks. This is stacked, bro. It must have sucked to have been any other. And there's 30 backs. Like every back was like, sure. This is crazy. Barry Sanders, Christian Okoye, which I played with all the time because he was a silver back. So he was a silver and he was the best. Like he was almost as good as like a gold like back. So I always had him on my teams. He was a bruiser. Earl Campbell, he was nasty in the game.
Campbell, wow, yes.
Earl Campbell.
Campbell was nasty in real life.
Emmett Smith, Gail Sayers.
Of course, Sayers.
Joe Perry, Leroy Kelly, Marcus Allen, OJ Simpson, Otis Anderson, Ricky Waters, which I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. It's a shame that he's not in the Hall of Fame. There's dudes in there who have no business being in there, and he should be in there.
Yeah.
He has like the 3rd or the 2nd most yards in history. Like put him in.
You know what? Thinking of this game, you know what's another game I'd like to make a comeback? NFL Street.
NFL Street, great game. Great.
Imagine being I don't know, Jalen Hurts in street clothes, throwing it to.
Imagine Lamar in that game.
Oh yeah, dude, Lamar be monstrous.
Game over. Game over.
Doing backflips doing wall jumps.
It'd be insane.
Oh, come on.
It'd be insane.
The man would be scaling the fence on the side. That's how fast he is.
But I think they did that in one of those where you can like run on the wall.
Yeah, that was the thing. I was a receiver. You could catch off jumping off the wall too. When you activated your special, what did they call it? Your streets.
But I feel like that came later. That wasn't. Did they have that in the first game?
Not in the first one. They had that in the second one. Yeah.
Is it the one with Chad, or is Chad in the 3rd one?
Chad's in the second one.
Chad
was in the second one. So was T.O. But the rosters weren't big. I mean, you only had a group of roster. Every team was on it.
It was like 11 guys. It was like 11 guys.
Yeah.
And you can start 7.
7. It was 7. Yeah.
No, you can
7
start
plus
7.
a couple substitutes. Yeah.
No, you actually had a nice amount. I was like 11 or 12, but you could only pick 7 to play. I remember because I used to play and I didn't really understand football, so I wouldn't pick a quarterback because the quarterback was Chris Sims and his stats were terrible. So I was like, why would I want this guy on my team? So I didn't understand that he was the quarterback for the team. So my quarterback was always Mike Allstott, which is awful. So I always had to run the ball and play good defense. I never understood why, and it's because I had Mike Allstott throwing the ball. But yeah.
That's great.
And that's our show. Thank you for listening to our video game 2000s rant. I hope you guys enjoy. Remember, hit that subscribe and like button. I'm O.
I'm Jay.
And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.